Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another first impression video for Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. Today we're going to be taking a look at Phoenicia, which is being led by Dido. And if you remember Dido at all, she was actually the leader of Carthage, or the Carthaginians, if you will, in Civilization 5. So Phoenicia and Carthage have a lot of similarities. My understanding is that Carthage was kind of at one point a province of Phoenicia, which Dido herself supposedly founded and kind of went from there. So why they chose to go with Phoenicia instead of Carthage, I think it has something to do with maybe some of the bonuses of being able to move capitals around, things like that. Just it kind of plays into that side of the story a little bit more than just staying focused on Carthage. We've seen Carthage come and go as both a civilization and a city-state in the past. Most recently, they were a civilization in Civilization 5 with some similar bonuses, some good, strong naval power bonuses. One thing we don't get anymore is the war elephants that she got in Civilization 5, but she does focus a bit more on the naval power, as we will see. So let's go ahead and jump into the video.
Dido leads Phoenicia in Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. After fleeing her home city of Tyre, this refugee turned ruler founded and led Carthage to greatness. Phoenicia's unique ability is Mediterranean colonies. Embarked settlers receive additional movement and sight, and all coastal cities founded on the same continent as Phoenicia's capital will always be completely loyal.
All right, so we've got two bonuses here. One is that you get extra movement and sight for embarked settlers. Not a huge, massive bonus necessarily, because you could probably get by. I mean, the extra sight is a nice convenience, but you could probably get by without that just fine. The movement is obviously a little bit more important. Being able to get across the seas a little bit quicker, be able to found those cities sooner. So if it's, double movement, for example, or whatever the movement increase is, you're just going to be able to found that city, that much quicker. So that's a little bit better of a bonus, but the loyalty bonus here is absolutely huge and significant. The ability to not have to worry about loyalty ever for any cities that are on the same continent as your capital is a pretty big deal, and one that you're going to be able to just stick a city wherever you want to. You don't have to worry about what some other civilizations have to worry about, where you need to kind of have a contiguous line of civilization or cities to make sure that you don't have any loyalty pressure. So being able to stick it wherever you want to within your continent makes a pretty significant difference, and is really going to help you just to spread out as much as you want to, find the best plots of land and kind of go from there. And plus, one of your other bonuses can help kind of tweak that a little bit as well to your favor, which we'll see here soon.
Their unique district is the Kothan. It replaces the harbor and grants production towards naval units and settlers in the city in which it is built.
All right, so we have the Kothan here, which I think looks really cool. I love the look of this thing. Definitely very much stands out from a regular harbor. But being able to get increased production, which I think it said was 50% increased production for settlers and naval units, that's not a small thing. That is a very significant boost that she has. That tells us that she's going to be building a lot of settlers and spreading out all over the place with the Navy to support that and kind of protect herself. So that is both of those bonuses. If it was just the naval, I mean, that would be plenty, honestly. But having them both the naval and the settlers, a big deal, and means that she's going to have a lot of cities.
Also, all naval units within the city's borders will heal completely in a single turn.
I mean, come on. As if there wasn't enough bonuses already. A 0 to 100% heal, basically, or I guess you have to be at least 1 health, 100% heal in 1 turn. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're doing a lot of early skirmishes, especially with barbarians and some of the earlier civilizations, being able to just swoop back, heal real quick, and get right back out there, it just really cuts down on your downtime and really makes sure that you have a very, very healthy Navy, at all times. So it's not, could you get by without it a little bit? Sure, but it is a very, very nice bonus to have that's really going to help you speed up and keep your war machine, your naval power, moving at full speed throughout the entire game. So that also covers all naval units, so not just the early game ones. So it's going to be helpful throughout the entirety of the game, which is really cool.
The Byrom is Phoenicia's unique unit. This ancient naval melee unit is faster and much stronger than the galley. It also provides protection to embarked trader units nearby.
All right, so we get a new naval unit here. This is her unique unit, which is the Byrom, which I think in Civilization 5, it was like a Quin's Ream, or I don't remember exactly the name of it. But so I guess they cut down on a few sails or something like that. Now we're just 2 instead of 5. I'd have to look at the history there to see what the differences are and why they chose one in Civilization 5 versus another in Civilization 6 here. either way, it's effectively a similar type of vessel. It's a very strong early game, kind of obviously stronger than the galley unit, has faster movement. Both of those are nice to have. It's cool to have early game, ancient era, unique units that you can really just go overpower the first person you see, especially in the early game where you don't have to worry about, warmonger penalties or anything like that. So, or I guess in the game now with the whole, what am I trying to say? The new system that they have, mind blank the name, apologies. But where you don't have to worry about all the penalties necessarily. I think they're going to be a little bit diminished in the ancient era for that side of things as well. So it's going to be cool to have this unit in the early game, but it's also a little bit of a negative in a sense because it means that you're going to lose your unit very early in the game. As soon as you get into the classical, medieval eras, stuff like that, suddenly this unit is gone, and that's it. You have nothing else to look forward to as far as military units are concerned. So some pros and cons there. Get some early conquest out. Get some of these early cities out of the way, and then you're kind of settling in with the rest of your just normal generic units, if you will, at that point. The one obviously massive benefit that she has that is also extra here is that they can protect trader units. So I think one of the things that you're going to do with these units is kind of scatter them along your trade routes and just kind of leave them sitting there for as much of the game as they're relevant to help protect those trade units from being pillaged and things like that. So that's a very significant and cool bonus to have. Although again, at some point these units will lose their effectiveness and you'll have to upgrade them, or else they're just going to get one shot by barbarians or anybody else that runs around. So that trade stuff, take advantage of it while you can, but it is going to go away relatively quickly.
Dido's leader ability is Founder of Carthage.
All right, let's take a look at this screen real quick for a second. We have Founder of Carthage, which means, and we're about to talk about this. In fact, actually, I'm going to come back to that one here in just a moment. Let's look at the Mediterranean colonies, see if there's anything else with these other bonuses that we might have missed out on through the speaking. Mediterranean colonies begin the game with the writing technology. Well, they didn't mention that. Writing technology, Eureka specifically. They did not mention that. So that's not a small thing. Any Eurekas that you can get are going to shave off time to be able to get to that technology. And obviously, as you get up higher in the levels, where like in deity and some of the other higher levels, where the other civilizations, the AI gets a lot of bonus civilizations or text for free. Being able to get a few extra Eurekas here that you can be able to kind of try and catch up as quickly as possible is a big deal. Coastal cities founded by Phoenicia and located on the same continent as the Phoenician capital are 100% loyal. We already heard about that. Settlers gain +2 movement and +2 sight while embarked. Okay, that's a good deal. That is a lot of extra movement and sight. And then settlers ignore additional movement costs from embarking and disembarking. She didn't mention that, but kind of makes sense with that whole idea of extra movement. And, obviously, again, that's going to help you get those cities set up as quickly as possible. And every turn that you can get a city set up, the sooner you get a city set up, that's just that many more turns it has to be productive and efficient. We got the Byrom here, the Phoenician unique ancient unit, replaces the galley. Increase combat and movement strength. So again, it's going to be able to just go to town against any of the barbarians that you face early or any of the other kind of civilizations along the way. And then trader units are immune to being plundered if they're within 4 tiles of a Byrom. I think, I forget who it was. We've already seen a civilization that gets a unit that protects the, was it Mali or who was it that has the protection for land units, and here's a protection for water units. Now this is a little bit shorter distance, but I think you're gonna be able to get these Byroms in a little bit more strategic positions to be able to protect your units along the way. And we got the Kothon. It's the district unique to Phoenicia for naval activity in your city, etc. Must be built on coast or lake, etc. Plus 50% production towards naval units and settlers. All wounded units in the city's border heal plus 100 HP each turn. So there you go. 50% is pretty big deal. And then you can stack that with some of the civic bonuses where you can get a little bit extra production for either settlers or naval units that way. And you're gonna be able to just pump these things out like crazy. So you're gonna have a really, really big early navy, a lot of early settlers, and be able to spread out very, very quickly. And then here we go, get into the Founder of Carthage, which we'll go ahead and jump into what the explanation is.
She can move her original capital to any city she controls, which has a Kothon, by completing a unique city project.
All right, so being able to move your capital, this is absolutely 100% unique compared to any other civilization in the game. This is honestly a little bit unexpected because I didn't think of this being a possibility in the game, until the civilization come along. I think it fits with the theme quite a bit. And it kind of goes to that whole idea of, you can settle just about anywhere And if you find a really, really good continent elsewhere that maybe could potentially start having some loyalty issues, well, just shift your capital over there. And suddenly you have no more loyalty issues anymore. Now, your cities back home on the previous continent might start having loyalty issues if you're not careful. So you got to have to kind of take that within reason. And I think the idea here being find the best continent for you, wherever it is. It doesn't matter if it's the one you started off on or not. Find the best continent for you, and then just get ready to advance towards that. Settle your first city wherever you want to. I don't think you have to be quite as critical about your capital city. Obviously you don't, because you could move it, and so settle it wherever you can to get some early quick bonuses, start getting some settlers out, and then find that ideal perfect location for your capital long term. And then I don't know that you're going to be jumping around your capital like a whole bunch during the game. Maybe there's a valid strategy for that. But I bet you at least move it once, maybe even twice, to get into that perfect capital location.
Also, the government plaza increases trade route capacity and provides additional production towards building districts in that city.
So extra trade route from the government plaza. Every extra trade route you get is always going to be a benefit. And then increased production towards other districts. I think it was 50% is what we saw. So again, not a small thing. Now, it does tell me that you're probably going to be building the government plaza first. That is very likely going to be the very first district that you build. Well, maybe after the Kothon. You probably have to have the Kothon, in a lot of places, at least initially. But it's very early district that you're going to build, and then just going to speed up the other districts after that. So granted, it's only going to be able to be buildable in one city, because once you get your government plaza down, that's it. But you're going to want to make that your biggest city, so that it can have the most districts to make the most benefit of that particular bonus.
Spread Phoenicia's empire quickly along the coast, and use Dido's ability to move your capital to a more optimal location to shift your loyalty pressure throughout the game. Phoenicia is a flexible civilization, able to adapt to the ever-changing state of the world. They can be a major contender in any victory type. Are you ready to embark on a course to victory? How will you lead Phoenicia in Sid Meier's Civilization 6: Gathering Storm?
All right, so Phoenicia here. Some things, now I did, as they were talking about moving the capital to kind of advance on other civilizations there at the end, that could be a valid strategy. Move your capital, steal the loyalty of another civilization, another city real quick, like the one that was there on that island, get the loyalty pressure to flip it as quickly as possible, and then just move your capital back to where you started from, or something like that if you had a good city elsewhere. So that could be a valid strategy to kind of bounce your capital around to steal cities, but still kind of maybe retract it back again once you're done. Because I can't imagine that city that she just founded. I mean, there are some capital bonuses that you want to take advantage of a lot of times that actually, I don't know. Maybe moving it around, maybe it's irrelevant that your capital is your biggest city or your best city or anything like that. Maybe it is okay just to keep moving around as much as you can. But again, you have to be careful about that loyalty pressure at your home base, because you're going to go from immune loyalty pressure to suddenly, as soon as you move your capital off that continent, oh no, I have loyalty pressure all of a sudden. So something to keep in mind with, and definitely a very, very unique way and a unique take on playing the game. It's going to really change how you play, how you think, and kind of how you plan your cities out. As far as any victory type, I don't know that I completely agree with that, quite honestly, because Conquest, absolutely. She's going to be a naval powerhouse, being able to, in the very early game, obviously be able to take out some early cities, but also, not having to worry about loyalty on her continent. She's going to be able to take out about any city that's on her home continent. I guess it's coastal, though, is specifically what they mentioned. But at least the coastal cities on her home continent. And then even the internal ones, honestly, though, if her coastal cities aren't having to worry about loyalty, then you can kind of save some of your governors and stuff like that for the internal ones that might have a little bit more pressure. But I imagine that she's going to be able to take out her entire home continent pretty quickly and pretty readily. I mean, if she takes all the coastal ones, then the internal ones are just going to flip, honestly, on their own in some sense. So I think she's going to have no problems with loyalty no matter where the city's at on her home continent. And then the ability to move her capital off. You get the entire continent, well, maybe your capital doesn't need to be there anymore because there is no more loyalty pressure. Shift it off to another continent and start conquering that one. So a very interesting take, and I think domination is very much in her cards. Even though her unique unit is very early in the game, she's going to use it up very quickly. The power that she has is just a general Navy power. You just be able to build Navy faster, have cities settled all over the place, move her capital, provide that loyalty, support, or pressure as needed, and then be able to heal up her units. You take a city, and then you rest for one turn, everything's healed back up, you move on. I mean, the amount of speed she's going to have for her naval conquest is pretty significant. As far as science, I mean, she's going to be able to get you know, the pick of the litter as far as, where she wants to settle her cities, pretty much, it seems like. So she's going to be able to have a lot of settlers, a lot of places, a lot of locations, which does help towards a science victory, being able to settle near those mountains or settle near places that have good production, things like that. So I think science is very much in her cards, especially since she's going to be able to be very aggressive and take a lot of, coastal cities and other things like that. That's going to help towards that as well. Culture. I mean, no specific direct bonuses towards culture, but again, culture, the more you conquer, the easier culture victory is. Diplomacy. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, we don't know enough about some of the diplomacy stuff, like how some of the emergencies come about and what some of the specific requirements of those are. So I can't say no to diplomacy. She doesn't have any direct bonuses to diplomacy that we can see, but some of her other bonuses might lead into a good diplomacy, boost. But again, I don't know. That one's a little bit of an unknown. And then religion. There's nothing here for religion, honestly. No bonuses really, other than just, again, the fact that she can settle near some mountains or forests or things like that to get more faith, some very ideal faith locations from her holy site. So again, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I feel like if you're playing the religion or any of this, several of these other ones, you're not really playing to her strengths as much. I think her strength is really going to be domination, possibly a fallback on science or culture, something like that. But either way, I think she looks like a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to playing her. If you like naval civilizations, I think she's going to be right up your alley in a lot of ways. Again, the biggest weakness being that she loses her unique unit very early in the game, and then you're playing with generic units for the rest of the game, which some people may not like quite as much. But I think she's going to be able to set herself up for a very, very strong late game either way. So a lot of fun. I think she's very cool. Again, I think it's going to be a fun civilization to play. So I do appreciate you watching this. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like this video if you like this. I think we've only got, one more to go? I might have lost count. I think we're up to 8. So I think we've got one more to go, which was very likely just the leader civ, which is not going to be a new civilization. It's going to be a new leader for one of the existing civilizations. I've heard some rumors about what it is. I don't want to spoil anything yet if you haven't seen it already, but we'll find out next week. So I do appreciate you watching, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye.